In this CD, I will guide you through my understanding of a soul's journey to the other side, the transition process. I will share with you my experience of the final stages of a soul's physical existence. I will also share with you the experience that takes place as a soul leaves the body. And then I will also share with you how we can connect and communicate with the souls once they have transitioned from the physical world into the spirit world. The signs to look for, the symbols, the feelings, the senses that we can receive from our deceased loved ones. We all have loved ones who've crossed over, and eventually we will do the same. This is an opportunity to understand and perhaps feel more comfortable with the process of soul transition. If you have lost someone recently, are in the process of having a family member transition, or feel a need to understand more about the connection with a soul once they have departed, this CD will be very informative and healing for you. No one actually dies except apparently, just as no one is actually ever born, but only appears to be. When a spiritual being projects itself into matter, we call this birth. And when it returns to the state of pure spirit, we call this death. The truth is that divine essence is never born and can never be destroyed. Many people assume that someone does not exist because we cannot see him with our eyes or hear him with our ears. We believe that he no longer exists simply because we cannot perceive him anymore with our senses. As a medium and an intuitive, as well as a hospice volunteer, I've come to experience the last stages of the physical existence on many realms and in many different ways, personally as well as professionally. As a hospice volunteer, I've been able to witness the experiences that people's physical bodies go through as they transition from the physical world to the spiritual world. I have become aware that there are many, many ways that we transition this physical world. Some people leave through a disease. Some people leave through an unexpected accident. Some people are killed by the hands of someone else. Some people commit suicide. And some people go to sleep at night and just never wake up. And in all of the ways that people transition, the end result is the same: peace. They're going home. During the final stage, oftentimes what happens in the physical realm as well as the spiritual realm is that the physical body, as it starts to leave and starts to die away in whatever form that is, the spirit becomes more and more alive. If someone has an illness, oftentimes their subconscious mind is aware of exactly when they're going to die. They're in communication with the spirit world, with their deceased loved ones. They're coming in and out of consciousness, getting comfortable with the other side, exploring and playing and having fun. When they are in an unexpected accident, oftentimes they don't have a conscious awareness that this is the way that they're going to transition. So on the physical experience, it can look as if there's fear, or we can feel upset because they're in so much pain, or they can seem to be hanging on, or a variety of different experiences happen on a physical level. And in truth, on a soul level, they're just preparing. So for example, if someone has an illness, we can't determine how long they're going to live with that illness. Some people manifest cancer and they die within 2 weeks. And then other people manifest cancer and they die in 10 years. And we as human beings surrounding and supporting them can't necessarily understand why one would choose to go through as much physical or emotional pain, because we don't understand their journey always. I had a client 8 years ago or so that had brain cancer. And she was an incredible woman and just was a wonderful, wonderful lady, had accomplished a lot in her life. She was young. She was 58. And her family had called me because she was ready to transition as far as they knew. And I went to see her. And while I was there sitting with her, doing some energy work on her, and just trying to tune into her vibration, the message that I got is she wasn't going yet. She was not going to leave. There was still unfinished business. And I shared that with the family, and they couldn't figure out what the unfinished business might be. I suggested that there was a brother of hers that hadn't come to visit her yet. And they confirmed that and said that he wasn't going to come. He was uncomfortable with the transition process. And I asked them to call him and say that he needed to be there because she was not going to leave until he came. And I left that afternoon with that message that once he came, she would release and leave. I didn't know why. I didn't know what had gone on between them. And I left. And the next morning, I called to check on her to see how she was doing. And they said that she was exactly the same. She hadn't eaten or drank for 7 or 8 days or something like that. And they were just really upset that she was still just going on. And I asked them again, would you please call the brother just one more time and ask him and tell him what I said. I don't care if he believes in this stuff or not. And so they did. And he came. And he walked in the room, and he told her hello. And he was uncomfortable, so he walked out and used the restroom. And when he walked back in, she had transitioned. And what I found out after that was that when his mother had died, he wasn't there. And he'd always felt guilty because he wasn't there when his mother died. And so she knew how much guilt he had about that. And her spirit and his spirit together, without words, decided that he needed to be able to heal that through her transition. And so as soon as he showed up in the physical form and actually acknowledged her process, then she was able to leave. And she left him with a gift. And so oftentimes when we have people that have illnesses, we don't understand their journey. We want their pain to end. And that's something that, as a medium, I've experienced that oftentimes we see that they're in physical pain, they're on medications and things like that. But what happens a lot of times is that they're out of their body. They leave their body and they go and they play in the spirit world. And so many times during those last stages, the late stages of the transition process, they're not there as often as we think they are. And so they're not really in as much physical pain. They're able to transmute that energy and shift their vibration to a place of peace and light and love. And oftentimes that brings us a sense of peace, knowing that. And that's not to say that there isn't physical pain and that people don't have that. If that's the case, that's also part of their physical experience that not always we will understand. Another example of the transition process is when somebody is killed or murdered. And we often have a hard time understanding that. A lot of the clients that I see as a medium will come to me who have lost someone that has been murdered, and they will be so angry and so upset, and it will cause them a lot of pain in their own life and oftentimes manifest as a disease because of that anger and that resentment towards the person who took their loved one away. And although on a human level, I absolutely understand that they have that anger and that resentment and that pain and that frustration. On a spiritual level, it's a great opportunity to be able to recognize that there could be some healing that could take place. I'd like to share with you a story that I read about a lady whose father was murdered, and this is actually, these are her words in the way that she shares them. So she's talking about guilt, and she was feeling guilt because her father was murdered. And during the process, when someone is shot or stabbed or something, my experience as a medium stepping into that energy, because oftentimes I feel what they felt when they transition. And very rarely do I actually feel pain. I feel pressure. I feel an awareness that I might be having blood coming out, but I don't feel the pain of that. And my experience in communicating with the other side has been that they often don't feel it either. And I'm not going to say that that's always, but it's been common in my experience. So this particular girl is talking about feeling guilty that she hadn't expressed her love to her dad, that maybe she could have done something, or that she should have done something, is the way that she felt. And she was trying to take the blame for his death, although she had nothing to do with it. And so she says, I often feel guilty. Let me take a look at the feelings of guilt, though. This would be like playing God. Am I a God that I can keep someone alive? Such thoughts are totally in contradiction with the laws of the universe, which state that each soul, in collaboration with the divine, decides the moment of birth and death. No one can create someone else's death. I do not believe that the person who shot my father was the cause of his death. I believe that he was simply the means by which my father's death was manifested. I believe that my father, as a soul, had chosen to die in this way on this day, although his conscious mind was totally unaware of this fact. The only thing that he said after being shot, as he looked into the eyes of his assailant, was why. I believe in the divine law which dictates that each soul, in collaboration with the divine, creates his own destiny. How can I believe that someone else is responsible for another's death? Not even he who pulls the trigger. Thus, how much more difficult is it for me to believe that someone died because I did not tell him I loved him enough, or take him to the doctor, or have one more operation, or because I wasn't there when they died. This, of course, does not mean that we don't do whatever we can to be able to save a person's life. But when the soul has departed, it has nothing to do with us or with negligence. We are obliged to do whatever we can, but then we must offer our results to the universe. So this was a message from a girl whose father had died by being shot. And this is how she came to acceptance of that. And you may not be there. You may have experienced a death in your life through some violent way, and this is one perception of that. You may not be here in this place right now, and that's okay, because as we grow and evolve and heal and learn, we come to different places at the divine right time. But I would suggest to you that it may be possible that what she says is true. In my experience, I believe that it is true. But I can say that I do understand, as the human process, being a mother or a brother or a wife or a sister, that it could take time to get to this place. So I'd ask you to take it in as consideration. One of the other ways that we transition this physical world is through suicide. And oftentimes I hear a lot of negative judgment. I hear a lot of blame and guilt and shame and anger and frustration and pain around suicide. And as a medium, I've worked with many family members who have experienced loss through suicide. And when the spirit of those people who chose to leave through that experience come through, they oftentimes are saddened by the feelings of the people around them. They oftentimes are still a bit confused when they first transition. They oftentimes are in a state, I call it a healing space, where they are learning to raise their vibration and get to a place where they feel peaceful. And this healing space creates that opportunity for them. But I have never, in my experience, had someone that has transitioned through a suicide that has been in a dark, angry, heavy, terrible hell like many of us were taught. I believe that oftentimes on a physical level, we have experiences that cause a lot of pain. And oftentimes for people that are quite sensitive, that maybe don't know how to be in the world but not of the world, feeling like maybe they're losing themselves in the physical experience, I feel like oftentimes that's the option that seems the clearest to them. And my perception of that is that if they've left in that way, that is their journey. And the way that it affects the people that are left is your journey, is your own experience, in the feelings that it brings up for you and the awareness that it brings up for you. And each person has their own journey, and then we're touched by other people's journeys as well. So I'd like to share with you a poem about suicide. This poem is called Responsibility, and it's really about if you're struggling with guilt. Oftentimes survivors that are left, people who have transitioned through suicide, will feel guilty and shameful and angry and things like that. So this was written by obviously someone who's gone through this, but the author is unknown, and it's called Responsibility. I have a responsibility to those I love, to be loving, patient, considerate, and kind, to be loyal, respectful, and honest, to be appreciative, encouraging, and comforting, to share myself and care for myself, to be the best possible me. But I am not responsible for them, not for their achievements, successes, or triumphs, not for their joy, gratification, or fulfillment, not for their defeats, failures, or disappointments, not for their thoughts, choices, or mistakes, and not for their suicide. For had I been responsible, this death would not have occurred. So for those of you that may have been touched by suicide in some form, maybe you might resonate with that message. And the final way that I mentioned in the beginning that we do transition through this death process is going to sleep and waking up in the spirit world. And it's just almost like a snap of the fingers. We're here 1 minute and gone the next. And as a medium, that's exactly the way I experience it. It's boom, boom. I'm here, I'm not. There's no pain, no shock, no physical experience. Rarely do I feel. It's literally just a shift in vibration, environment, and oftentimes those people are at more peace. Their energy and vibration doesn't feel as chaotic maybe because they just shift over. Where when it's unexpected or when they're in a long process of disease or when they commit suicide, there may be more emotion around it. And now we'll move on to what happens when the soul leaves the body. Many years ago, I was with my ex-mother-in-law when she transitioned her physical body. It was one of the most spiritual experiences of my entire life. And I was honored to be able to be present as she transitioned. And what I experienced as a daughter-in-law of sorts was the energy around her body and in the room that she was in for about the last 10 hours was full of vibration, full of spirit beings, full of energy. And although she was in a coma, I was able to feel and sense different energies around her. I knew that her mother was there. I knew that her aunt was there. I had experiences with electricity and the TV going on and off, and then we unplugged the TV and it still went on and off, especially the last couple of hours before she transitioned. And when her soul actually left her body, I was holding her hands, and I actually felt her spirit move through me. And as it moved through me, I was aware that she was leaving, and something within me changed in that moment. That was when I started getting onto my spiritual journey truly, when I really opened up to my gifts and my abilities, and when I started owning the fact that spirituality and mediumship and intuition and energy work and spirit connection and all of that was going to be a part of my life, was once she transitioned this state and I was the only one with her. I mean, it was one of the greatest gifts I've received in my spiritual journey. When a spirit leaves the physical body, many people have many different experiences. And I'm sure that if you've been with someone when they've transitioned or even been away from someone when they've transitioned, you may have had your own experience. Sometimes a TV will go on or off. A stereo will turn on if you're in another state or another town or another room, and you know that that's when they've left. Sometimes you'll get a phone call on a cell phone and there's nobody there when they leave. Oftentimes, if you're in the room with someone when they transition, you feel the other spirits coming to collect or to get or to reunite with your loved one. So their grandparents, their parents, sisters, brothers, family members, friends will be in that space, and the room feels very crowded, even if maybe there's only 4 or 5 people in the room. After we have the experience of leaving the physical body, what happens to the soul? Where does it go? There's lots of people that have a lot of different ideas on what happens. And my experience of what happens is really just based on the mediumship that I've done, not on my own personal experience. So as a medium, the messages that have come through, the experiences that I've had channeling and communicating with deceased loved ones, is that once their physical body is shed and they transition into the spirit world, the first thing that happens is that they are greeted by family members, friends, and they recognize those people energetically. They don't have a body any longer, so it's not like big open arms, give me a hug kind of thing. It's an energy. Just as you can recognize other people's energies when they walk in a room and your eyes are closed, you can feel what your husband feels like or what your sister feels like. You know their energy, minus the bodies. So there's a reuniting in that sense as you transition from the physical to the spiritual. But then we go into a life review. And in this life review, the soul experiences all of the feelings that have been imparted on the other souls in their physical experience. So, for example, if you lived 70 years, you begin at step A and you move through all of the feelings that you experienced and that the people that you were connected to experienced throughout your life. And what that does, I believe, is it creates the awareness of the areas where we need to raise the vibration, the areas that might need to be healed, or the people that might need to be healed. I was in a session once where I actually was talking to a lady whose mother was transitioning while we were talking, and I would say we didn't know that consciously, But I started feeling these different feelings and emotions, and I asked her mother had had Alzheimer's actually, and had been basically non-responsive and in a coma, and I started feeling the feelings that she was going through this review. So when I started feeling those feelings and I related them to her and asked her if her mother had transitioned, we found out that yes, she had just transitioned, and I believe I tapped into what was taking place with her mother during her life review. And I've never had that experience since, and I've never had that experience before, but with this one particular woman. But what I have had many times with the deceased loved ones that I've talked with is that they've gone through this review and that they've felt those emotions. And then what happens is that helps them to evolve and to grow and to learn, because in the spirit world, we're in a process of constantly evolving, raising our vibration to get into alignment with truth, to reach enlightenment, whatever term you want to call that, to be our gods, whatever your word is. And so as we raise our vibration and as we connect with the alignment and the feelings and the truth of things, and we heal through the experiences and help the people that are still left on the physical planet that may have healing work to do, because deceased loved ones often do that. That's often why they're around us as much as they are, to help us and to guide us into getting into a connection with more truth and to raising our vibration. When they get to that place, then they can start to move forward in their journey. So the journey is really just an evolution of raising your vibration or enlightenment. And just because we shed a physical body doesn't mean we don't continue to learn and to grow. Once the review is done, for many spirits, they tend to go into a healing space, as I call it. And in that healing space is where they're doing that work. And once they're done with that, then they move on to learn and grow and journey and experience just as we do. Some may choose to come back into the physical realm, and some may choose to support other people, be a guide for others based on their awareness and enlightenment. Others may choose to just be a manifestation, because in the spirit world, there are no bodies. There is instant manifestation based on thought. Everything is a vibration. So there's basically, in my understanding, instant manifestation based on our thoughts. And the physical world that we're in now is our training ground. Because if you think about where we're at in this physical world, if every thought we had was instantly manifested, what would you be creating? And you think about, okay, what were the last 10 thoughts you had? Well, you may not necessarily want to create all 10 of those. So this is our training ground to be able to be more in alignment with what we truly want to create. So when we get into the spirit world and we come back home, so to speak, we have the experiences that we need to evolve and to grow and to reach enlightenment. The first step in connecting with our deceased loved ones is really just knowing that we can. If you can come to a place of believing or allowing yourself to just give yourself the opportunity to believe that you can connect with your loved ones. Many people have many experiences where their departed loved ones are connecting with them and they're not aware of it. So if you're having dreams of your loved ones, you are connecting with them. If you are seeing symbols that were connected to them, you know, if they had butterfly tattoos and you see butterflies around, or if they were a miner and everywhere you go you see signs for mining, or if they were a musician and you seem to hear music all the time like you never did before, that's another way that they're connecting and communicating with you. If you're seeing feathers just flying into your office or manifesting in places that feathers don't normally manifest, they're connecting and they're communicating with you. If you're feeling their presence and maybe you feel like you're crazy because you feel like they're sitting on the bed next to you, don't doubt that they are there. Trust that they are there, because all of these ways are ways that they show us that they're around. And their desire is to help guide us, support us, and let us know that they're okay and that they still exist, and that just because they shed the physical body and because you may not see them with your physical eyes doesn't mean that you can't see them with your spiritual eyes. So if you have any of those experiences taking place and more, which I'll discuss in the next little bit, please continue to ask for them to manifest in a way that you can experience them. So the first step is to ask them to be present with you. Ask them to surround you and to give you a sign or a message. But know that that's not going to be in your time, in your way. So if you're saying, show me a butterfly right now, that is likely not going to happen. You want to just ask for a sign that you will understand and allow that to come in the perfect time and space, because it will. So as a medium, I am the telephone, and I connect the physical world and the spiritual world. And that's what a medium's job tends to be. But I've decided personally that I want to teach other people to be the telephone, so that you don't have to go to someone else to connect with your loved ones. You can do it yourself, because everybody has the ability and actually very likely has had the experience, whether or not they're aware of it, of connecting with their loved ones that have transitioned. Oftentimes, we don't believe it because we were raised not to. It was a negative thing or a scary thing or a demonic thing or, lots of different beliefs around that. Other times, it's that we want it so bad that we can't see it or we can't feel it. And sometimes it's that we're not observant enough. We're too busy in our physical lives doing our physical life stuff that we just don't pay attention to the subtleties. And the spirit world speaks through subtlety. It is the penny that's on the ground every time you go to the cemetery. It's the sense when you climb into bed at night that someone is laying there next to you holding you. It is the sound of a particular wind chime when there's no wind chimes around you. It is the vision of a hummingbird when your loved one loved hummingbirds and had them all around. Those are the subtleties. And if you're so busy in your physical life doing everything that you're doing, you may miss the way that Spirit is speaking to you. So when you're asking for your loved ones to come through and to let you know that they're with you, you have to pay attention to how they're coming, which means you have to be observant, aware, be open, and ask. Now, some of the common ways that our loved ones come through, besides some of the other ways I mentioned, oftentimes they'll come through dreams. In the dream state, what happens is our vibration raises. As our vibration raises, we get to a place where we can connect and communicate with the spirit world. And so in the dream state, when we go to sleep and our body is at rest, our conscious mind is at rest, then our subconscious mind can come in, and it allows our vibration to go to a place where we literally are connecting with our deceased loved ones. If you wake up and you had a dream about Bob, and Bob was your best friend, and he was in the car sitting next to you, and you were getting ready to drive down the road to see your other friend, Ted, then that really is what's taking place in the spirit world. And the reason that oftentimes we dream, which is the most common way deceased loved ones connect with us, is because that's the place that it's the safest for us. We trust it the most. Everybody dreams. And it's the easiest place to raise our vibration and for them to lower their vibration to get to a place where we can come together. And oftentimes we'll talk about dreams where, not so much now, I don't think, but definitely in the past, when we've had weird experiences or strange experiences that we didn't understand, a lot of people didn't talk about them. Where dreams will talk about, oh, I had the strangest dream that, Uncle Sal came to me and this is what happened. It's a way to be able to connect with them. So if that's something that you'd like to do or that you've had happen, you can ask for them to come to you more often. You can ask for them to come to you in a dream state if that feels safe to you. And you can ask them to start coming in other ways. But if you're having dreams about them, your loved ones are connecting with you. You just may not have been aware of what form they were connecting with you in. There's something that would help to understand as far as when I'm talking about raising vibration and how to connect and to communicate with your deceased loved ones. And so I would just like to share with you that as physical beings in these physical bodies, our vibration, our energy is more dense than the spirit world because our soul is housed in a physical body. So if we're looking at a vibrational scale, the physical human beings are going to have a lower vibrational scale. They're going to be lower on the vibrational scale than the spirit world. So let's just imagine for a minute that the physical beings on a scale of 1 to 10, that us as physical beings are at a 1, 2, or 3. And that's based on, we all have the physical bodies, but we're all in different spaces in our spiritual journey. So if we meditate, if we pray, if we take time to be present, if we spend time out in nature, if we do things that bring us joy in our hearts, then that raises our vibration. So on a human level, we can have people that are at a 1, and we could have people that are at a 3. And they're moving, kind of constantly moving in and out of that vibration, let's just say, for example. Well, the next vibration up from this dense physical world, once we shed our physical body, is that our vibration automatically raises because we've released the physical body. And so let's just imagine, for example, that as someone who's shed their physical body and transitioned into the spirit world, let's say that their vibration is anywhere from a 3 to a 5. And again, the reason we have that space is because some of the people that maybe did a lot of spiritual work, they may be higher towards the 5 vibration. And some of the people that maybe didn't have any spiritual connection, maybe they're at a 3 vibration. That's not good or bad. It just is what it is. So let's say that they're in that vibration. And then we've got the next vibration above that, let's say from 5 to 7, is the spirit guides. Spirit guides they were physical beings at one time that have transitioned into the spirit world. So they've left their physical bodies, transitioned into the spirit world, and then they have raised their vibration through their own spiritual work to now choose to help support and guide other people. So their vibration is, again, higher than what we would say the deceased loved one's energies are. Deceased loved ones can certainly move into a spirit guide vibration, but at the beginning, they're in that 3 to 5 range. So we've got spirit guides at 5 to 7. And then we move into the angelic realm, angels and archangels, ascended masters. And the angels and archangels have never actually had physical bodies. They are pure vibrational energy, and they are in this 7 to 10 range. And of course, 10 would be the divine of your understanding, the God of your understanding. And if you can understand kind of that scale, just to give you an idea of how when we raise our vibration, we can help to connect with these other vibrational beings. Our job as human beings, if we want to connect and to communicate with these other vibrations, is to raise our vibration. And we do that, again, through meditation, through prayer, through music, through dancing, through singing, through things that bring us joy. If it feels good, then it raises your vibration. If it doesn't feel good, then it lowers your vibration. And that is within reason. Some people say, well, drugs feel good to me. Okay, that's different because that actually will lower your vibration because of the denseness of it. So what I want you to recognize is the more that you do to feel good, the higher your vibration can raise, and the easier it is to then connect with your deceased loved ones, or your spirit guides, or your angels. And then when we think about this then, if you have someone that's transitioned and you feel anger and pain and sadness and resentment and all of these things, regardless of how they transitioned, those feelings don't feel good. So they're going to lower your vibration. It's going to make it more difficult to connect with those loved ones. However, if you focus on their light, their being, their spirit, that you can connect with them, then that is going to raise your vibration and you will have more experiences with them. It is very important to remember that you've got to trust your experiences. As a stay-at-home mom, I was taking care of my kids and I was doing my spiritual work and seeing some clients here and there when I first started doing this. And I was not interested and never planned on being a medium. That was not something I was interested in doing. However, what started happening was when I was doing intuitive readings for people, I started connecting with the spirit world. And in the beginning, I didn't even tell people that the spirit people were coming through because I was struggling with how to share it, I guess, how to explain it and how to have them understand, because they were just coming for an intuitive reading. They weren't asking about deceased loved ones. And through a lot of trial and error, I learned how to communicate with them by being very, very, very aware of the feelings, the thoughts, the vibration, the energy around me. I had to be very aware, hyper aware, I would say. And when you're in that state, then you can tune into vibrations that can't be seen or heard or felt with our physical senses when you're in that awareness state. But when all of those senses are filled with other things and we don't ever allow any silence or quiet or intentional time to connect, then it's more difficult to read the signs and to understand. Once I started to get comfortable with doing the mediumship work and the intuitive work, I found that I started tapping into crimes, and I started tapping into the way that people were passing if they were murdered. I started having understanding or awarenesses of how they were murdered or what happened or the first name of the person or different things like that. And I struggled with it because I did not want to feel those feelings, and I was feeling them. And so again, I had to learn how to raise my vibration to a place where I wouldn't feel the sadness and the pain that the families had around them. And I had many experiences where I was given an opportunity to choose between feeling the pain and the sadness and the frustration, or focus on the healing, which would be the recovery of the body or the finding the suspect. And so I started channeling my energy into being able to be of service to people who needed that service. And that's when I joined the Find Me group, where we have psychics and police detectives and search and rescue that work together to find missing people. And I have found that, again, through that work, the more aware I am, the more in tune I am, and the more I am in alignment with my own vibration, the clearer the messages come. And now we're going to go into the light to connect with your deceased loved one. So take a moment to get comfortable in your chair or lying down on your bed or on the floor. And as you're getting yourself comfortable and situated, begin to focus on your breath. Taking a nice deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. In through your nose and out through your mouth. And as you're breathing deeply, notice how you feel as you breathe in and breathe out, becoming more and more relaxed and more at ease. Nice deep breath in and out. And now I'd like you to visualize yourself in a long, dark tunnel. If you can't visualize, just imagine, feel, or sense yourself here. It's a large tunnel with plenty of space, and at the end of the tunnel is a small white light. You are floating headlong through this tunnel, speeding towards the white light. It is somewhat cold, but that doesn't bother you because you know that you are safe. And as you move down through the tunnel, you draw closer and closer to this white light. And as you draw closer and closer to the white light becomes bigger and brighter, and bigger and brighter. And the white light becomes bigger and whiter until you are right up to this beautiful, bright, white light. This bright light is right in front of you. You are no longer floating, you are standing. But it feels as though you're stepping on soft, fluffy clouds, which gradually evaporate into the path on which you stand. Now I will count to 3, and at the count of 3, I'd like you to imagine yourself stepping into the light. 1, 2, 3. You are now standing in the light. It is a pure white light. Feel the light streaming down through the crown of your head. Feel the white light being drawn downwards through your body, the head, the neck, the shoulders and arms, the chest, the stomach, the thighs, the legs, and the feet. The beautiful, bright white light is in you. You are in the light, and you are the light. The light is love, and you are the light. Feel your light. You are protected by your own energy field, your beautiful white light. You are in the light, and the light is in you. Feel the white light cleansing your entire body, your mind, and your spirit. Feel the white light lifting away any negative feelings or thoughts. Feel the healing energy of the white light. See yourself surrounded by light, and know that you are completely protected. And now, as you're sitting in this light, everywhere you look, you see beautiful white light. You feel the energy of peace, love, awareness, trust, protection. And you know that you are completely safe. Now I'd like you to imagine that as you look off to your left in the far distance, you see an image coming closer to you. And as this image moves closer to you, you feel within your heart that it is your deceased loved one that you have been longing to connect with. And as you take a breath in and feel the energy of your loved one as they come closer to you, take a moment to feel that love. And now your loved one is standing right before you. See, hear, feel, or know that their presence is right in front of you. You may want to reach out and hug this person. Do whatever feels natural. And know that this is your experience. And as you are in the space with your deceased loved one, you may have questions. You may want to know what they've been doing, what they're up to. You may want to share with them what you're up to. Take some time now to feel their energy, to connect with their light, and allow yourself to journey together for the next few minutes. And now that you have experienced your loved one's energy and vibration, taken the time to connect with them, you know that you can always connect with this person. You can see them, hear them, feel them, or know them. That you can come back to this space at any time. And that this person, your loved one, can be with you at any particular time. And so, remaining in the light for just a few moments longer, feel the healing energy of the light. Feel yourself clear and aware and connected to your spirit and to the spirit of your loved one. You carry the white light within you, and you can come back to this place at any time. And so now it's time to come back out of the light. But remember that the light is always there inside of you. Take that guiding white light within you wherever you go. And now it's time to return to the here and now. Take a deep breath in through your nose, out through your mouth. Coming back to the room. And when you feel ready, you can open your eyes, aware and with the understanding that you can connect to the spirit world whenever you desire. Namaste.
The following songs have been written and included on this CD to help raise your vibration and assist you in your connection to your deceased loved ones. Into the light, I move into the light. The veil drops before me, I surrender all my might. The love seems to call me, and I'm willing to go. As I lift from this body, I return to what I know. I am one with my source, I am ageless and free. Spirit am I, forever I will be. Into the light, I move into the light. The angels are calling, telling me it's alright. And as I rise to meet them, they extend an open hand, gently guiding me forward, helping me to expand. I am one with my source, I am ageless and free. Spirit am I, forever I will be. Into the light. Into the light, I move move into the light. The love of God enfolds me. I'm surrounded by this white. Into the light, I am one with the light. Endless and eternal, I remain here with delight. I'm in the light, I'm in the light. I am one with the light, I am one with the light. I am one with the light. I am one with the light. It wasn't mine to do. That's all my mind could say as I hung up from the phone. My world changed that day. I sat there in the silence. My heart was filled with pain, trying to hear the words, but it all seemed so insane. I tried to search for answers to all the hows and whys. The hurt was overwhelming. Hard as I might try, but I know that with some time the sorrow will slip away. Memories will fill my heart of your laughter and your play. For love will bring me back, and I will feel you once again. The presence of your light will speak to me from within. I am left with just a picture of how you might have died. Were you lonely and afraid, and no longer could confide? No farewells got spoken, no simple sweet goodbyes. You were gone within an instant. It was your very own surprise. Were your dreams just not enough to fill you from inside? Was there something that was missing that no amount of love could provide? But I know that with some time the sorrow will slip away. Memories will fill my heart of your laughter presence of